So everything's done here with the Holtites. You can see them all protruding there. And the one that I had to solder seems okay. So let's just focus this up a little higher. There we go. Seems to work. I only lost a few Holtites. I don't know how many, but it seems fine. Oops, I'm losing them as we speak, just trying to clean them up. I'm a little nervous about the long-term viability of this, but we're still gonna give it a shot. Open chat here. All right. There we go. Okay, so time to actually put it together. See how it goes. First, I'm gonna wipe down this PVD brass plate because it's very pretty, but I have touched it a million times over the past 6 months since I've had it. Every time I on this chat say, or on this stream I say, I'm gonna build this one next, I pick it up and touch it. So it's pretty smudged. I'm sure I'll smudge it putting the switches in anyway, but I might as well start with a good baseline here. This is a very, very pretty plate. It is brass coated in PVD. It's real shiny. It's very pretty. Kind of almost a shame that it's going to be hidden underneath all the switches, but it's all good. So let's just clean it off a little bit. And then we'll start putting switches in. Now, the thing that sucks about these boxes, okay, well, thankfully this plate is very snappy, very tight. Because these box switches I've complained about in the past, they have very small, they don't have feet. They only have the primary PCB post, so they don't hold on to the PCB very strongly. And so in the past I've had a problem aligning them, especially on plates that have, like, you know, multiple, like this can be a single backspace. Well, actually this can only be a single backspace, so that's fine. But, you know, ISO versus there's some room for wiggle in the switches. So that's been a problem. But because this plate is very tight, this should be fine. It's a little uncomfortable to hold it like that's kind of pinching my fingers. All right. And I was gonna put this SA Oblivion on, but I think I want to save that set for a more specific build. Either a TKL if I can get my hands on a TKL kit, or possibly the M60A when that comes, which I think is supposed to be in August maybe, if everything's on schedule. Not sure. But I think I'd rather put that on a more special build. This is not like it's going to be a bad build or anything, but this build is meant to be a keyboard that I can try different switch types on and stuff. So it's not really the ideal the ideal build for, like, what I think plenty of people would consider to be an endgame SA key set. So I don't want to waste it, I guess is what I'm saying. And I have a Max Keys Miami, I think it's called Miami Nights, Miami Night or something. It basically is the color scheme of Miami, but the keys themselves are black, so it's black and pink and black and blue. So I might do that instead, because it's, you know, it's the solid black Klippe board. Klippe. I still don't know what it is. So I think I'll do that instead. I think, oh, see, this is the case I'm talking about where, so I've had problems in the past where if I was soldering, I would want this to be in exactly the right spot when it's aligned, and these box switches, this is not a problem, but the box switch itself doesn't really hold into the PCB very well because it only has the 1 foot. So in the past I've had a problem where these kind of wiggle about. This won't really matter because it's going to a Holtite anyway, so. Oops. Doesn't matter too much. Same with these. They're going to float around, but once they hit the right spot on the PCB, they'll snap into place in the right position. So. Oh, actually, it'll be a little tricky to. So I go back and forth on this. I always say this on streams. I never put them all on the plate. I never put all the switches in the plate before I put a keyboard together because I find it very difficult to get everything aligned in the right way. So what I end up doing is like doing the corners and then doing a few other switches, and that has its own problems. Oh, no, this one does not want to line up. This might be a little trickier. I'm gonna have to wait on that one. Also, I see a bunch of smudgy fingerprints all over this. So I can't get it clean. Well, it's a good thing the case itself isn't made of this material because it's really picking up smudges. Okay, it's better. So these are box navies, but the goal here is that I can later replace them with anything I'd like without having to resolder, so that I can start testing out other switch ideas. Like in hindsight, I built that Tina C with the Holy Pandas, and the more I typed on them, the less I liked them. I think some people are masochists with keyboards. They really like heavy, really heavy weight, really sharp clicks. I've come to realize I'm not a keyboard masochist, so I don't find myself really typing on that keyboard ever, because every time I think to take it out, type on it, I think, it's probably a different board I'd rather type on. And I'm not in the mood to desolder 62 switches or whatever. So realistically, what I'd end up doing is just getting another plate and another PCB and starting over, because I'm not the best at desoldering, and okay, maybe I'm talking myself into it because now I'm thinking that's pretty stupid to buy another PCB and do all that. But either way, they're infinite boards anyway, so realistically, I don't have like a huge necessity to go back to the Tina C, though I like the design of it. I think the Rama's M60A is probably going to fulfill my desire to have a custom HHKB style bottom row custom that is a better design, so maybe I'll just wait for that and see what I think of that first. Alright, we're getting there. Everything about this build was supposed to be faster, you know? Like, oh, I don't have to solder. Well, it turns out putting in Holtites takes 3 times longer than just soldering the board. Everything, you know, putting the switches in like this always feels slow. I guess it's not any slower, it's just doing it all. It's front loading all the work. Oops. I'm trying not to scratch this plate by slamming the feet of the switches into it, but I'm trying to find a good position to hold. There we go, let's do it this way. I'm trying to remember that I'm holding it upside down now. So the trick here is going to be, these have all got to line up right off the bat, which I'm not thrilled with, but it's mostly going to be the modifier keys in the bottom row that I'm going to have to adjust before I push down, just to make sure I get them all in the right spots. And then we'll have a pretty good stability test, because if I do all this and it doesn't feel like the Holtites are holding well enough, then I'll know this was all a waste of time. So I read a little bit in between these two streams about how other people are doing Holtites, and I did see that some people are adding a touch of solder to the pad first, and then letting it dry, or letting it cool, and then pushing the Holtite in with a hot soldering tip, effectively locking the Holtite in. And I will admit That sounds like a better plan than just pushing them in. But then other people are saying, no, you just, you know, just push them in. It works fine. So I think it's probably more about you can just push them in so long as the PCB you're pushing them into is has small enough pads that it will hold them. And I don't know that the Centrex 60 is going to succeed in that way. But here's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is they start slipping out as I'm taking switches out, and I just do that solder trick on 1 or 2 of them after I take the back, you know, I take the PCB. It's not a big deal. I'm not like locked into these. It's not like I can't remove the plate. So I'll just try it and see. Oops, we need at least 2, 3 switches. How did I do that? Okay, this one's just gonna have to float for a second. This one I think I couldn't get to stay. That one's just really crooked. What's going on? Is this plate? Oh, okay. Just have to kind of jam it. All right. So now we're just gonna do a leg check before I try jamming this whole thing in. Make sure none are bent. These pins. Oh, like how about I put this one in sideways? So that's a genius move. How did I manage that? That was like one of the first ones I put in too. Pretty impressive. Okay. So far so good. Yeah. Okay, everything looks fine. So, gonna attempt to get these on here and line them up as best I can. So let's see, this is gonna be on the left edge, left edge, left edge. This one's kind of a little off center. This goes over a little. Then these are the right side. Okay, this is far left. Oh, jeez. It's a little tricky. Oh, stay. Stay where you were. Okay, there we go. If I can guide it into the right spot, it'll just kind of start to slip in to position, but it's hard to see any row other than the bottom row. That's the biggest problem I'm having right now. All right, that looks like it's pretty much there. I feel like I got some switch somewhere is preventing this from, there we go, okay. Okay, left half is almost, left half is kind of in. Right half does not want to move. What's going on here? This is why I don't do this normally. Okay. Go in. Go in. Go in. All right. Left half's down. Middle's downish. Did I get those in the right spot? Looks like it. Okay, that's the right spot. What's off here? Okay, I think that's it. There we go. There we go. I have something just slightly misaligned here. I can't tell why. It's like one key somewhere in here, or one switch. So it feels close. Oh, there it goes. Okay. They don't all want to go in at the same time. It's like, oh, it was actually the stabilizers. Come on, you. Nope, you're not on. You're not in the right spot. You're not in the right spot. This return key is being a pain in my ass. It's like just off its position. There we go. Okay. Come on. Come on. There's too many keys at once. There we go. There we go. Good, good. All right, now I just gotta actually get them in there. Huh, these stabilizers, they're blocking the, okay. can hear them clicking into place. Stabilizers are blocking the plate a little bit. There we go. It's a very tight fit on these stabilizers. Okay. Now we're getting there. There we go. Okay. So there's a little more. Just trying to make sure every single Holtite is like actually gripping on, because it felt a little loose at first. Yeah, like in this corner, it feels a little loose. So this is a long-term durability question that I have: is when they're all in the PCB, will it feel like it's holding it on tightly? Because while I was putting the test switches in, I definitely had a concern that the grip of the Holtites was not as strong as I expected it to be. I feel like they're gripping in, but then they're loosening, which that would be terrible, because then eventually the switch would just pop out, which is not great for typing on a keyboard. What do you do with your keyboards when you're done with them? Do you pick a keyboard to type on based on your mood of the day? Yeah, kind of. So I've got a shelf that unfortunately is not visible to the camera. I have a couple of shelves on the wall that I keep the most recent ones on. Well, most recent ones being that I've basically hit the limit on that shelf as of my last 2 boards, I think, are not on the shelf. They're on a... you can see them kind of sitting in a tray here on the desk. But yeah, I've hit a kind of a limit right now of what I need to decide what to do with the other ones. But I do switch keyboards quite a bit because it's fun. So, you know, sometimes in the mood to type on clicky switches. Sometimes I'm on the mood to type on, I'm just writing like a lot of emails or something in a day. I'll switch to a 40% board because they're fun to type on. I just don't write code with 40% boards because I can't, it's too much work. Sometimes I'm in the mood to type on a Topper board, so I will type on an HHKB because they have a very unique feel to them. So I just kind of, yeah, I swap around depending on mood. Lately, I have been typing on the same keyboard primarily when I'm at my desk because I've been doing a lot of stuff back and forth between the PC and the Mac. So this one keyboard is a 75%. Has a function key row, and for some of the stuff, games and stuff that I've been doing on the PC, the function row has been useful. But like I said in earlier streams, I am hopefully going to build a TKL soon, and that's sort of like the next thing to build what I hope is like the ultimate keyboard to use for both the PC and the Mac at my desk. But generally speaking, when I'm just doing work or writing and stuff, I like to use a 60. So I have a lot of 60 boards, not a lot of boards bigger than that. A couple of 65%, but mostly 60s lately. So yeah, I'll have to post an updated picture of my keyboard shelf because it's a little out of control. I actually just the other day thought, okay, I need to get one more shelf, and I don't have a good spot for it in the office currently, wall-wise. Yeah, it's a little out of control, I will say. It's also just fun to build them. I get a lot of questions from people after I post about builds, asking if people can, you know, have me make one for them, and that's hard for a bunch of reasons. Not because I don't want to. I'd actually love to do it. It would be really fun to build keyboards for people. It's more about how the whole BI architecture works and stuff. It's just really hard to like give people choices about what they could get in a board, like for caps and switches, because you rely on group buys and all that. So I have thought though that I should sell some of my older builds just to sort of get them out of the space. But yeah, it's kind of hard. It's hard because I made them And there's something about that where I want to keep them because I made them. All right, let's test this thing. Make sure it works. I'm gonna switch over to my Mac just so I don't screw with the streaming PC here. Wake up, computer. Okay, let's give this a shot. Should work. Oops, there's keycaps everywhere. All right, here we go. It's a good sign the LEDs still work. I don't know what the I can't remember what the default QMK is. Okay, so let's just test this. Oops, come here. Okay, that is indeed escape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 dash. We have a non-working switch here. It's interesting it was working before. Okay, that doesn't work. Does that have its Holtites in place? It does. Okay, it's concerning. All right, let's see. That worked before. All right, let's see if everything else is working. Tab. So far, so good. Well, it's not a column. That's something. Okay. Oh, nope. We got a non-functional C key here. Okay, so it's, these two keys are dead. I feel like I saw some ghosting there. No, maybe not. Okay. That's a function key. Good. Space. That I think is a function key as well. I think by default this is a layer. Don't remember what layer it is. I think by default this is a layer. Oh, you know what? This doesn't work because I put a backspace in, and by default this is 2 backspace, or 2, that's why. Okay, so that's fine. What was the other one that didn't work? C? That's interesting. What's up with that? Well, why doesn't that work? It looks fine, but it's entirely possible that there's something wrong with that switch. So that's the first thing to try, I guess. Boy, this is not going to be fun. Just getting one key out of this, though. I didn't really actually think. All right, let's try. Yeah, exactly. I think this is one of those things, much like every other hobby that involves construction of something. Same with like Legos. Like people love to build Lego. I love building Legos. And then you can't store them forever. So the one benefit of Legos, or Lego, is that you can deconstruct those into a pile, put them in a bucket, and move on. This stuff just takes up a lot of space. Trying to think of the easiest way to get this thing off. That's very strange. I don't want to scratch the PVD. I don't have a good... All my tweezers are kind of crap, to be honest. I'm gonna try using these guys. See if I can get it up without scratching anything. Come out, you fucker. So this is where, you know, Holtites, sure, but if you can't get a grip on the switch, it's kind of doesn't really matter that it's not soldered. If I can't get a hold of the damn thing to get it out. I mean, realistically, if I was swapping switches, I would take it all apart anyway, so they'd all be coming out, but this one case, I just need this one to come out. All right, I need to move this here. All right, let's see if this works. Come here. Please allow me to grab you and extricate you. Oh my God. There's just absolutely no tolerance here on this plate for grabbing a switch. Oh man. Actually, where's my... Aha. The thing is, I don't care if I ruin the switch. I care if I ruin the plate. And I don't want to scratch it. Wow, this switch is being a real... Okay, can't see. This switch is being a real pain in my ass. Oh, you know what? Let's try it from here. Okay, that was better. Should have tried that the first time. I don't know what I was thinking there. The PVT is so slippery. It like, I can't get any leverage on anything near it. Okay, there we go. Oh. Well, you wanna know why this is a good sign. Because I was afraid I had a bad point, but this is why that didn't work. If that resolves. Come on. You can do it. Focus. You can focus. You can focus. Bent pin. See that pin there? This camera is the worst focusing camera I think I've ever used. Well, anyway, there's two pins. One is bent. So, yeah, good stuff. Well, one out of the entire thing. It's not bad. I'm just gonna use a new switch just in case. And did those Holtites fall out? Nope, they're still there, so that's a good sign too. That was a pain to get out, but there we go. Okay. Let's hope that was all problems we've got. Yep, it was. Good stuff. Okay, and so keys here that don't work don't surprise me because by default, those are not programmed on this board. Same with this one. Once this is in place, this is no longer programmed. I'm pretty sure. I can't be 100% certain because I could swear I tested that before, but I think once you put backspace in the centered backspace, you stop. No, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna have to try that one out too. Because I could swear I tested this before and it worked, and now I'm not sure. Some keyboards, some PCBs by default will disable one key near the backspace if you use the backspace, but I don't remember how this one. Come out, please. Oh, you can do it. Yeah, so the problem is, it's hard to show this, but so the switch top I could take off. Well, I could if I hadn't lost my switch top removers. But I can't get a grip on the switch bottom at all because the PVD is so smooth. There's no texture here to like get friction on the switch from. It's insane. It's like glass. I can't grab it. So let me grab this is what I used last time, but it's actually the wrong shape for this. I'm gonna use the butt of this brush. This one's really in there. Oh, you know what'll work? I'm just gonna use it. It's just like you gotta get the initial butt of it out so that I can actually get under it on the front side. And even still, it's like, it is literally like glass. Like everything is just sliding around on it. It's ridiculous. Oh my God. come out, you bastards. There we go. Bent pin. Oh, that took the Holtites out. I did not have a bent pin, but it took the Holtites out. Okay, I'm betting I was right the first time that that's actually a PCB issue. So it was a waste of time. Yeah, because those pins are fine. All right, so let me put these back in. So again, that really shouldn't have. That shouldn't have taken the Holtites out, doing what I just did. That's my fear long term, is I think I'm going to spend a lot of time if I do switch switches on this board. I'm going to have a hard time doing it because I think the Holtites are going to fall out every time. Is this hot? Good. By the way, the proper way to test if a soldering iron is hot is you touch the tip of it. All right. Holtites reseated. Nope. You really gotta get them in there, Jesus. All right, that one's in. This one can still go a little more. What are Holtites? Oh, yes, yes. So most people who solder boards don't use these, and this is sort of an experiment. I mean, some people do this. This is more an experiment just to see if it would work. But yeah, they're Holtites are these little. Again, this is extremely hard to show. I'll try, but basically they're these little tiny. This camera is a real piece of shit. They're very small, and they're just little. These ones happen to be gold plated, but there we go. You can see them there, and you place these in the pads of the PCB, and then they are kind of sticking out like that, and the legs of the switches go into the Holtites instead of being soldered. Yeah, these, yes, across the board, yes. So, like, basically the feedback that I saw on them was you don't have to solder them if they fit tight, but you should solder them. But then some people were saying, I don't ever solder them, and it was sort of a back and forth. I think in hindsight, I think these probably require soldering, to be honest. Because on this board is listed as fits perfectly on the compatibility list that somebody made on Reddit. The Centrex S60S, but I agree. I think these probably need soldering. I think this is more of an experiment than anything else, and what's going to end up happening here is if I ever actually do switch the things, I might end up having to solder. I don't know. The thing that is a little frustrating about soldering Holtites is, like, you have to basically get a trace of solder into the pad and then use a warm back. You have to use a warm soldering tip to push the Holtite in and hope you don't clog the hole and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, like long term. I think somebody else earlier in chat today said that you can just get the Kale. They make a a different type of this that is soldered into the board, and I think I would end up doing that if I was really gonna go long term with this. This was more of a test, so learning experience. It's good to know. And they were so tedious to put in, honestly. Like, it was so much work. Okay. Let's just check. So, this is all done. Needs to be programmed, but this has been sitting on my desk for so long, I had dust in it. Gonna just cut a piece of foam also to dampen the sound in this thing. Okay, let's just do that real quick. Nice thing about this foam is it's extremely easy to mark up with a little bit of pressure. So I usually just stick it in and then basically press it to all the seams here, and it'll then have a pretty clear indicator of where I need to cut it. And actually in a case like this, where the inside is just raw, or well, not raw, but like plain aluminum, I could even just do this with a blade, honestly. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that to be faster. HS60. It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure which one it is. My office refrigerator isn't making a bunch of noise. That was... where the hell did those scissors go? There they are. All right. I think we'll only need one. It doesn't have to look pretty because it's just for sound. All right, let's see. Get that hair out of there. Great. Dog hair all over me. This is good for electronics, I'm sure. Okay. Then we're just gonna work out these. That's one. Where's the other one? 2, 3, 4, and 5 is okay. Okay, just gonna poke holes in this. Okay, whoops. It's a high quality operation going on here. I think foam is like the only part of a build that I don't care at all how it looks, because no one will ever see it, and it's just whatever's easiest to get it in. Like literally just tearing the spots where the screws go here. This is starting to look like I might need 2, but actually I'm a little nervous because the Holtites might make this tight fit, so we'll see. It's actually something I didn't consider until this exact moment as to whether or not the Holtites would make this not fit because of the depth of this case. So we are about to find out live. 1, 2, get this foam out of here. This foam is now static electricity to my body. Stop, stop. Good Lord, let go of me. Thank you. More piece here. And I just need to cut this one edge so that it, oh, because that's a screw hole. Okay. Good enough. It should hopefully do its job. Let's just see if this fits in here. Should probably put the USB port in first. Try not to touch the plate because it's picks up fingerprints so easily, but I don't know if I can do this without touching it. There we go. Okay. Ah, found another Holtite. I found 2 before I started the second stream today, so I think there's some under me as well. All right. That's pretty good. Let's give it a shot. I bought this Clip through 1UP keyboards. That is not an advertisement. That sticker just happened to be in here. All right. Now the fun part. Putting these screws in without dropping them inside the case. And it's black, so it's very dark. Can't see what I'm doing at all. Also, these are not screws. These are not screws. It has a very tiny hex. I don't even know if I have a hex that small. That might be the smallest hex I've ever seen. Okay, it's actually not as small as I thought. That's good. Okay. My plan is always to try to screw it in for 20 full seconds. Oh, it doesn't seem to be working. Before actually looking and saying, oh, it's not a screw, or not a Phillips. All right, let's, oh, well, I already had a screw in here, didn't I? There we go. Okay. Don't do that to me. I thought I didn't magnetize this one. That's right, on an earlier stream, the majesty of the magnetizer. I'm gonna magnetize this head here. Beautiful. This is great. This is great. Who knew? I have the power of magnets now. I'm basically a magician. My dog agrees. Good. I'm telling you, the electric screwdriver. It's good stuff. Okay, so far so good. Of course, I've done this before where literally the last screw is the one that I drop into the case. 2 more. We can do this. Okay, last one. Got it. Okay. Now, let's plug it back in real quick. Okay, working keyboard. Feels pretty stable. Definitely feels stable. That's good. Okay. Now then, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, I think with the black, everything here is black. Let's go with black keys for this, or switch caps. Well, okay, first let's open this other box that I have. This came today. Also a greatly delayed group buy. This is Solarized Dark. GMK Solarized Dark. I accidentally got into a bit of angry. Well, I wasn't angry. I got yelled at on Keycap by the guy who designed this because I asked what happened between the interest check and the group buy, and then between the part where we all paid hundreds of dollars and then the part where it arrived and looks absolutely nothing like the renders. So I was hoping, yeah, thesis, yeah. He yelled at me. He said I was so dumb and a fucking expert. An internet fucking expert. Which, you know, I think he was angry, probably, that people keep asking what the hell happened. But my question to him was more along the lines of, like, which step in this group buy was the step that could be improved for next time so that other people who are running GMK, or if I ever wanted to run a GMK thing, because I've been considering it lately, you know, what part was the part that went wrong? And I guess he had answered it once before in the thread, though that answer was not satisfactory as far as I was concerned, because it was basically just, it is the way it is. But as someone who's running a buy, if you put up a product and then people pay for it, and then you don't tell them that, oh, by the way, we didn't pick the right colors when it started, but we're not going to change them, and then it turns out like garbage. I don't know. It seemed like something was wrong with that whole deal, and so here's that set. It just looks absolutely nothing like it. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh. Beast, your message had the word fuck in it, so it didn't come in. Hold on one sec. I think considering I've said it on the stream 3 or 4 times, I think we'll be fine here. Let's go ahead and show that. There we go. Yeah. I think the thing that I came to learn after going back through the thread and seeing like what he had said and re-looking at the renders, I think that the biggest concern that I would have about his renders in the future is he's rendering them in a level of light that is extremely unrealistic for human existence. So yes, if you take his render, if I were to turn off all these lights in here, the set might look more like his render. But I very rarely sit in pitch black, and even if I were sitting in pitch black, it would be irrelevant what color my keycaps were because I couldn't see them. So if truly it was meant to look like this, it's just he turned the brightness down on the render so far. That doesn't seem valid. Doesn't seem useful as a rendering style. But whatever, they're very beautiful. But yeah, I think there's probably a little bit too much. Yeah, let me grab the link to the renders. Oops. So the funny thing is the renders are actually still. Oh, I have to use this keyboard to type. The renders are still in. Oh, at least this keyboard works. So Keycap is still selling, or is not selling them, but it was still listed on the site with the original renders. So it's kind of crazy too that, where the hell is it? Let's find it. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna paste this into chat if I can figure out on this. There we go. Okay, sorry, this thing isn't bound very well. Here we go. So if you go there, you can, here we go. Let's do this. As a group, let's all look at the render and then look at this. Now, I will fully admit that the lighting in here is bright. It is certainly bright, but I'm also in the room, and in the room, it's brighter than it would normally be this time of night, certainly. But, oh, here we go. Let's do an experiment. Let's just turn this light off. Okay, now, I will admit, with all the lighting turned off in the room, it looks closer to his render because you because they're just dark. They're dark things. You know, look, I'm not trying to. I genuinely wasn't trying to start a beef with him when I asked the question. It was an honest question. It was an honest question about, you know, what in this buy ended up with this color of keycap when you look at the thing. And basically his response was that they didn't choose Pantone colors when he did the render, and that GMK can only do Pantone colors, which I actually don't think is true, because I know people are getting custom colors from GMK, but I think the issue there is cost and time and delays and all that. It's like a Serica, the ones, these names are all insane. Zabumon, something. The guy who did Nautilus is doing that Serica thing, and he did a custom yellow, I think. I know other people have done custom colors. I know it's possible, but it's probably more expensive. It takes time, so I get it. I think my biggest concern was when I learned that they made those decisions and figured out those mistakes after the buy had concluded, after people had paid for it, and then they never really said, hey, by the way, when we designed this, we didn't pick Pantone colors, we used RGBs, or I think they used hex colors, which is insane. And we just sent them to them and they can't do them, and here's what's gonna happen. And then they could have shown what they would have actually looked like potentially and said, do you still want these? But, you know, yeah. The funny thing about Keycap is, I mean, I've got thoughts about this whole community, because at the end of the day, 90% of the people running group buys shouldn't be running group buys, because they don't know what they're doing. And I think it's really neat that some cool stuff. I'm obviously not going to put these on this keyboard because this set is no good. I'm probably just going to mech market this set, honestly, because some people really like it, and that's cool. I'm glad they do, but I'm not a fan of. I actually like this color. This is a neat color. I just really dislike this alpha color, and the modifier keys are black. Basically, I mean, they're not. They're 98% to black, and like I got the colored modifiers. They just don't look good. I think I'm kind of over GMK's modifier keys. They look really chintzy to me. Like, I keep buying GMK sets and then getting them and going like, oh right, that's what they look like. I like this color a lot. This cyan is really good, and it's pretty close to the render. I'll bring that render back up for a second. The cyan is close, although in the renders it's actually almost green, whereas here this is like a hard blue. There's no green in this, really. I like this color. These colors should be more well, okay, these are pretty close. These colors are fine. I don't like pink backspace. I don't know. I like the color pink. I just don't like this pink. There's something about the GMK pink I don't like, but this color is terrible. Like, I could almost live with the alpha color, maybe if let me open this back up one more time. Here's my biggest problem, is that the alpha color is the actual color of the cap itself. I could live with as its own color if I hadn't seen the renders. Once you see the renders, it's kind of, you know, comparing. But I could live with this alpha color. However, I really don't like how bright the actual legends are. They're really bright, and they just don't look good on. It's not good. Just show the whole thing up close. Like, it's not good. It's way too bright. That color should be darker. And the thing is, I really like solarized. I use it in various text editors, so to see it come out like this is it's disappointing. It's disappointing. So yeah, I'll probably just sell this set. And it sucks because it was extra delayed. The biggest problem that I have with Keycap, with Joseph Chan's thing, is that I think he's overwhelmed often. I don't have a good answer for how to do that other than don't run group buys, because it just doesn't seem like something that's an easy thing to do, and I think people get into it thinking they'll be able to do it, and then they fail, and it just goes and goes. So I like this color. Oops. I like this color. The legend color is awful. I don't want the legend color on my keyboard, and that's the biggest problem. So anyway, I thought I'd open it just to see. I like the design of the box. It's neat. It's just yeah, I don't know. I'm having a, I think I just said this a second ago, but I am having a thing with GMK caps, where the last few sets that I got from GMK, there's something about them, and they just don't look great. I like typing on them, but they always look a little chintzy to me. They always look a little, like, I really liked the idea of Yuri, for instance. I have that, and I put it on a keyboard, and then I was just like, no, this looks just, I don't know, something about it. It's very vibrant plastic, which is funny because I'm sitting here with, you know, Karbon, but there's something about SA, spherical, there's something about the plastic that, I don't know, I like this aesthetic more. I know a lot of people think SA is just for pictures, and it's true. It photographs way better, I will say. I just happen to also enjoy typing on it. Speaking of, I've had these for a very long time. So I think this should be what we put on this board. So this is Max Keys, which means it's matte finish and a little squarer. But I've got both the black with blue legends and the black with, oh no, okay. Oh, right. It's just black with blue legends. And then pink modifiers, and then I've also got, I've got colored modifiers, but I think on a board like this, I think I'm just gonna go all black. Go all black, maybe a blue spacebar though. That might be nice. Let's hold that for a minute. All right, so TX keyboards are done. They're made. You can buy them afterwards straight through Kin, guarantees pay. Yeah. My only problem with that is I really was actually interested in the TX 800 V2, I think, or 1800 V2. I don't think he ever ended up selling more outside the buy. I was hoping he would, and he kept saying he would, but I don't think they ever got manufactured. I can't remember. I kind of gave up after a while. I actually started to see a lot of feedback about the PCBs in them being problematic for unknown reasons. Sorry, I'm still not advertising for 1UP, though I did buy this from 1UP, and 1UP is good. This isn't Top Clack, so I don't have a sponsorship or anything. All right, let's put some caps on this thing. I should probably unplug it first so I don't cancel the stream accidentally. Oh, you know what? Oh, good. Okay, I thought I wasn't going to have a short shift because sometimes max key stuff does not contain certain keys. But I got it. Probably not going to have a good function key for that row, but that's fine. And then I think whatever the next big serious board that I build. Ooh, okay, I'm going to have to, hold on. I might have to move the, yeah, so like, for instance, Max Keys doesn't do a control caps lock key. They always only do caps lock, but I think I'm gonna have to move this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to loosen these screws a little bit and move this board, and move the PCB over just a little to the left. It's a little off. This key is touching the edge. Where are you? Okay, so hold on. Oh, here's the test. Can I pull this out without pulling the switch off? Okay, we're gonna have to be a little careful with that. Boy, these screws have like very little distance to actually screw in. I wonder if that's a Holtite issue because I've pushed it off the case a little bit too much. All right, let's take this off too. God, I'm nervous taking these off. Oh. That wasn't why I was nervous, but separate problem. Can I get all these? 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is the middle one. Got it. 5, 6. Let's just scoot you a little bit to the left. I'm actually gonna put that. Pick that up. Gonna try. Let's see. What can we put there to test? Ah, another bad thing about Max Keys. In the Max Keys universe, all computers are Windows computers. So I have to have Windows keys. Ugh. That's so gross. I keep looking over at this beautiful Oblivion set sitting right here. I think I'm just gonna put Oblivion on this keyboard. It's so good. It's so good. And I've got both the white and gray alphas. So I could go solid gray on this board. I liked the idea of all black, but I don't want to have nah, screw it. We'll just go max keys. It's fine. It'll have a win key. I'll have to live with it. It's not the end of the world. It might be the end of the world, but it's fine. I'll survive it either way. Can't just include one more menu key, you sons of bitches. Whatever. All right, let's just make sure this is seated in the right spot in this case. So, and I know everybody, when I post pictures of the boards I build, people get angry at me that I use the tilde key on the board, on a 60 board instead of the escape key. But I actually do use this. I use escape in a layer because for me in my line of work, I use tilde and ticks more than I use escape. I guess maybe that's not actually true, but it feels like that when I'm writing code, so it's just easier. All right, let's just make sure this is lined up. I'm actually gonna put one in the bottom. Come here. And we'll do... It's fine. Okay. Try to align this in the light so I can see which is the even. I'm just trying to scoot the board around until it's as lined up evenly as possible. Oops. Stay where you were. Pardon my reach. Oh, that's my hair touching the microphone. My phone. Okay, that's pretty close. Occasionally I hear the music and I actually pay attention to it and it's just like, why? I've complained in almost every stream about this music, but if you want to have replay ability in your stream, you have to use royalty-free music. And the royalty-free music options out there are not so great. This is the NCS collection. Oops. All right, now we're a little more balanced. Good, okay. So unfortunately, this is gonna say win, feels like a loss. Oh, you know, funny thing is I could use these. No, I couldn't because they only include enter and caps. Oh, you bastards. They really are bastards. All right, whatever. That's fine. At the end of the day, it's slightly better than silence. 100%. Yeah, if it wasn't super awkward for you to just hear me breathing slowly as I... Oh, that went on strangely. Hopefully that didn't just pop the... We'll see if that key still works. Yeah, it's slightly better silence is absolutely true. The worst part is I also hear it. It's the only way, so I could buy a board and mix this better so I don't have to hear the music, but I guess it is better than nothing. Kind of. This music is really pushing it on better than silence, honestly. The cat sound effects and shit. All right. Good. Now I'm gonna try not to make the same mistake I always make when I put keycaps on boards. Just that I always somehow end up putting the dash and the equal sign swapped. So in past photos of keyboards, I have accidentally had both the dash and equal sign swapped and the F and D keys swapped quite frequently, actually. And I don't notice because I'm a touch typist, so I don't tend to even look at the keyboard when I'm typing most times. So I never notice it until I do notice it, and then it seems pretty stupid. I had a photo up for a very long time before someone finally said, hey, by the way, you've got your keys in the wrong positions. And actually, when I built the 40% board, I put keys on in the wrong positions, and that one I did look at because I was trying to figure out how to use the damn board. So that one made it clear, but I always swap at least 2 keys like an idiot. I think part of it is I go on a bit of like autopilot as I'm taking them out of the box. And if they're not in the box straight, which there's no guarantee they are, then I just put them on however I see. Like right now, this F is sideways. I'm try really hard not to accidentally put that on sideways. See, now I need a pink cable, but I don't have one. Closest I have is purple. Did Thesis Camper do he did the render for Plum? I didn't realize that. I have that set as well. I was gonna build a ZZ96 for my sister. I think I said this in a previous stream. She switched jobs right before the buy got all screwed up. The guy didn't deliver it for like 9 extra months, which just feels like all group buys at this point. By that time, she'd switched to a job where she had a roaming office, where like in her office building, they didn't have assigned seats. They just sort of picked desks, and seemed dangerous to build an expensive custom that she couldn't safely leave somewhere, especially considering the ZZ96 weighs like 4 pounds. I don't want to have to carry it around. So I ended up with, I have now GMK Plum that I was going to put on that board that I didn't use. And yeah, I looked at it and I think it's a good design, but I don't think it's the kind of color scheme I prefer. I'm not a big fan of that color scheme. So it's just sort of sitting there. I think one day I'll just build the keyboard anyway and she can use it at home or whatever, but just got lower priority. Also, that keyboard is 96 keys, which is like, I'm just exhausted preemptively about having to do it. Okay. Good, I didn't put that on sideways. For a split second, I just realized I forgot. Really wish I had bought Max Keys Ninja at the time. Or I really wish, the thing I actually wish is that I wish SP would do black with black. Black with like, 10% gray or whatever it was. Because I think it would look really neat on a board like this. But this is as close as we get. And I'm surprised they just didn't rerun Ninja, because I see a lot of demand for it, honestly, and it looks really neat. Problem with Max Key stuff is the quality is a little on the crummy side. This set's not, it's not terrible, but their number molds specifically, I could swear, I mean, I've heard this before, that they have Signature Plastics old molds. But I have old Signature Plastic SA keycaps, and they do not have as bad of a number set. So I think it's both a combination of the old molds, but also just not as high quality in general. On the accent that I built, I used SA Berserk, also by Thesis Camper, actually, designed by Thesis Camper. Man, the numbers on that are so bad. Look at the quality of the mold is so bad. Like the 2 is like barely fully formed. It's embarrassing. Okay. So now the question is, I need a function key, which of course I don't have. And I don't want to use one of these cherries or flowers. I actually don't like their iconography. And actually, it doesn't really matter as long as it matches. What is this, 3? Like, literally a plus? I don't really care. As long as it's whoops, that's not it. I could use even an up arrow would be fine, because it is actually a layer key. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. Okay. So now the question is, should I do a black enter key? Hey, wait. Why is this not on? Okay. A black enter key. And like a blue, should I do a blue spacebar at all? I have SA Berserk, I have it mostly just in my closet. Yeah, it's mostly the numbers. The number row is just not great for me. You can actually kind of see it in this, if I can get it. My camera's been a real piece of shit the whole day, so I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's see if I can get a close-up of those numbers. Focus, please. Oh, I should just turn this thing to manual focus, honestly. I should see if I can get the 2. What is it focusing on at this point? Who knows? The background? I mean, like, what the hell? All right, you know what? Here's what we can do. I know I can get this to focus on it. So let's do that. Let's get closer. Okay, so, you know what's funny? The amount of light spill is actually causing the camera to pick up more color than is actually visible in, like, it's bleeding light, so it looks better than it actually is. But you can see that 5, actually. That's a good example. If you look at the top arch of the round part of the 5, there, you can see, if I can get the focus in that exact spot. There it is. You see that? Sorry, this is very difficult. Yeah, it's just not, it's thin, really thin. And a lot of the number row is that way. In like, you know, daily life, when you're typing on it, you don't really see it. But it shouldn't be like that, because the signature stuff is not like that. And if they are indeed using the signature molds, I don't quite understand it. So let's see. This is, jeez. So the question is that good? Or should I just go black? Kind of feel like I'm already this far into the black. I might just go solid black, or I might go black spacebar but do a blue or a pink return instead. See, the only thing is I don't like the pink keys because they use blue on the pink, and that legend thing is also a problem there. So, you know what? We're just gonna go black across the board. Let's do it. Oh, this is the song that has my cell phone ringer in it. So another song that makes me think something's happening in the background that's not. Okay. Just there's leftover lube here. That's great. All right. Let's see. One last thought consideration here. All black. Blue. The blue looks actually pretty good on there. Or there's also pink. I actually don't like this pink very much. It's kind of more like magenta-y. Kind of thinking I might do the blue spacebar. Yeah, it looks kind of nice. MGS fan, yes. Also, just yeah, like I haven't played. Actually, never ended up playing MGS 5, which is silly because I bought it and it's one of those games I keep wanting to go back and play, and I just have never done it. I need to do that, but I was a huge Metal Gear Solid 2 fan. I know people hate that game, but that was like the first. Well, I played Metal Gear Solid 1 in college, but that was like on a borrowed PS4 or PS2 and sorry, borrowed PS1. But yeah, MGS2 was like the first one that I played all the way through. I loved it. The ending was at the time awful, but I loved it. And yeah, that codec sound is like one of the first custom ringtones I ever had when custom ringtones were a thing, and I've just found that custom ringtone on every platform since. And then once I got one for one iPhone, it was like I just automatically moves to every other iPhone. It's actually my wife's, the ringer for my wife, but not anyone else, just so I remember it. So every time I hear it in this song, I always think she's calling, which would be weird since she's just in our house. See, there it is. All right. Damn, I really can't decide. I kind of like just the starkness of all black, but this blue color is kind of... The weird thing is actually, this blue is not the same blue that's in the keys, now that I'm noticing. Is that true? Or is lighting playing tricks on me? No, they're two different blues. Are you kidding me? Yeah, those are definitely different blues. This one is actually blue. Yeah, it's definitely a different blue. This is blue. Like, in the keys is blue, and this is more like cyan, I think. I still kind of like it, but now that I'm looking at it up close, it actually does clash. So, decision made. Done. Go on there. Cool. Oh, okay. It's like there was a little bit of flex in it, but I'm realizing it's just gunk on my thing here. Actually, let's put these feet on so that I don't have that problem. Always recessed feet holes. Go blue. Or not. Yeah, so the funny thing is, I don't know if the camera's showing it, but the blue actually clashes. It's not the same blue. The blue of the keys is blue, and the blue of the spacebar is cyan. So like when you actually look at it up close, they don't look the same, which is... But you might be convincing me to just do it anyway. Hold on, let's try. Let's get this, make sure this sits flush here. And also, hello. Okay, good. Felt like there was flex in the board when I first started. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. I'm gonna take that. Oh yeah, actually sounds better in real life than it sounds with my headphones on. So I'll pull the mic closer in a second. But all right, let's try the blue. Taking off space bars is probably the worst part of this. What I really need, I usually have a second key puller. Where is my second key puller? It's not in here for some strange reason. Well, let's just see if we can loosen it a little here. Come on, grab on. There we go. Okay. Oh, hello. Thank you. Let's try the blue. It's not sitting flush for some reason. Huh. Just an uneven mold. All right, I like that. Yeah, it's a little noticeable in real life. In real life, like you're not in real life. I'll live with it for a little bit. See how I like it. Wait, what's going on here? Feels like the mold for this bar is a little misaligned, so the stabilizer's sticking a little bit. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna verify that that's actually happening, or am I being psychotic? Which is a possibility. Come on. Come here. Bastard. There you go. Someone needs to create a spacebar remover that's sized for 625, because these bastards really don't want to come off. I don't have the right tools for this. Come on. You can do it. This thing's really stuck on that key, Jesus. That's the one downside of the box switches, is they really hold on to stems. So why is that? Mold seems fine. I'm gonna try reversing it if I can. I don't remember if I can. Yes, I can. Let's try reversing it, see if it fits better. Yeah. Well, there's something about it. It's like, I don't know if it's an optical illusion. Maybe it is. It looks like it's high on the right side. It feels better though, so. Okay. Cool. Now the good news is I already have a QMK map for this because it's identical to another board that I did and the same PCB. So programming it will be easy, but I'm not going to do that now. I will do that off stream because that's easy. So let's just give this a shot. Where are you? Boy, this thing is heavy. Oh my god. Alright. Feels pretty good. The navies, the navies are heavy, like more than I remember, and I think this is probably why I picked the jades the first time. But yeah, so like a navy as a backspace is a little intense. That's a key you hit with your pinky a lot, and that's a heavy press. Yeah, like that's actually, that'd be pretty unpleasant long term, I think. So I think I'll replace this one with a jade. I like the sound of them though. Here, let's do a little sound test here. Come here, microphone. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about fatigue with this, the weight of the navy. The backspace definitely is a problem. Huh. Well, in general, that was certainly certainly a lot of lessons in this build. One, I don't plan on using Holtites again, because that wasn't fun at all. That was like actually unfun, not fun to do. So I probably won't do that again. Or if I do something like that again, I will use the more Kale style solder in thing where you solder a part onto the board that is then effectively your Holtite, because this system is just too flimsy. And it could just be that it's the S60S. That's a hard one to say. It could just be the S60S is just, even though it was claimed to be compatible, is just not quite compatible. And maybe these will all fall out. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm definitely gonna switch the backspace key. Or switch, I should say. So I guess I'll see what happens when I try to pull that out. But in general, I'm glad I finally built the thing. And I will actually try to use it. Where's that MK logo? There it is. I will try to use it as a test board. God, it's so heavy for what it is. It is just one big aluminum brick, which I like. But I think this was more a learning experience than anything else. It's just, is Holtites a thing that I should be considering? And I think the answer is no. And I think the other thing is that the navies are probably too heavy long term for me, I think. Just they're a little intense, but maybe I'll get used to them. I don't know. I could also spring swap them without having to swap the switches, and I could just swap in different springs. I actually don't know in the box set what the difference is between. I think it's a click bar difference, not and a spring difference, obviously weighted. But I think the click bar is the sound and the tactile feel, but I don't know. I think the weight is just the spring. So I could actually just spring swap the navies if I like the click of them, which I do. Yeah, they're just too heavy for me, I think. I don't know what gram this is, but it's more than I think I would like on a daily basis, but it is fun to type on, certainly. So more learning lessons than anything else here, which is good. And I did not use Oblivion, which I've got sitting here, so this will wait for the next big build, which will either be the M60A or the whatever TKL I can get my hands on at this point. But that's probably not until July and August. So I do have the ZZ96 that I could build for my sister, and I think I may just do that. So maybe that's the next thing I'll build, is the ZZ96, which is a big one. It's just size-wise is big, but I will solder that board. And she actually, she liked the box whites, so I think we'll go back to the box whites for that build. No Holtites, just soldered. And yeah, because I have all the pieces for that board, so I should just do that. So that's probably the next thing I'll build. I've never built a 96 before, and it's a cool layout. I don't think it's the kind of layout I would prefer, but it's cool, and she works and wants the number pad. So putting it all in one space, I think, is better than the full-size keyboard with all that extra space. Putting in a 96 makes it more compact, but still has everything. So, so yeah, I'll play around with this and play around with the Holtites, and see if they hold tight. See if they work. I don't know long term if they will, but at least the board is built, and I can test other switches now. I do have those jades, which I'm gonna throw some jades in here as well, especially in the backspace, and maybe some of these other modifier keys to see if that feels better. And then if I like those, I might try swapping some other ones. I might just swap springs, I don't know. And I've got some Xylants on order, but they're not here yet. But those will go into the next board because I really enjoy typing on those quite a bit. Thanks for watching. My verdict is don't bother with Holtites. It's easier to solder. I wonder if soldering the board and desoldering the board would have been faster than putting in the Holtites, because I think in total this is going to be like hours and hours of a build. When I put it all together as individual parts, it'll be like 3.5 to 4 hours of builds, and this is a 60, so it should have been a lot faster than that. And if long term they fall out, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching. So next time we'll try to build an actual board and do some soldering and build something I've never built before, which will probably be the ZZ96. So thank you very much, and have a good night. Thanks.